Alright guys, welcome back to the channel once again, and in this video we're gonna be talking about Auth0. So Auth0 is a kind of tool, like it's kind of integration where you get like multiple different kind of authentication methods, and those methods you can use like in your application. So whether writing the code for all the different kind of integration in your code base, like Google integration, Facebook integration, or Microsoft integration, and blah blah, like any other different kind of authentication, or username password authentication. So better doing that, you can just use one URL which is provided by Auth0, and you can manage the all thing just doing some changes over there. So you don't have to write any code for that. You just have to use that URL. The people will and link that URL with your any button or like backend API code. So people will click on the button, it will just hit that URL, and then people will see the login page. They can authenticate whichever method they want to, and after that you will get the callback and the token and refresh token, and then you can use it for further process. So it's kind of that's how you can get the authentication. So we're going to be discussing about that. We're going to be looking all the process, all the different kind of various methods over there, and how the authentication app we can create in the Auth0 and how Auth0 works. So Auth0 is a kind of application belongs to Okta. Okta have like other different kind of authentication methods as well. Like Okta is also one of it, like authentication method, but Auth0 is a kind of integration. It provides you different other kind of authentication. Also you can include Okta as well into that, like Microsoft ADFS, Microsoft Entra. So those kind of different authentication you can use. So let's go to the Auth0 and I'll show you how we can create an app and how we can configure it. So also there is one more authentication which is called SAML authentication, which follows some compliance like most of the company use. If you don't have that kind of authentication enabled, so it's kind of like people will not use your application. So you have to have like this SAML authentication. So we're going to be discussing about those, and I hope most of you guys would not be aware about that. Like there are other different kind of authentication methods also exist which are kind of high level, so we will go through with it. So let's get to it. All right, so I'm on the application page over here, if you can see. So this is, I'm already logged in the Auth0. So if you go to the auth0.com, so you're gonna see the landing page over here like this, and they have like everything written over here. You can read and go through with it, and they have documentation as well, properly defined for developer and the non-developers. Any kind of documentation you can just go through with it. So these are the four methods that you can integrate the Auth0 in your application, whether you have a mobile app or single page application. Single page application is like your whatever the authentication works on the client side only, so there's no backend authentication, like backend involvement into it. So that's why regular web app is kind of like backend front end both are authentication. So you click from front end, go to backend will take you to the Auth0, and then Auth0 will give you refresh token, and then you verify that and then redirect user back to the client sides, kind of that. And the backend API is kind of server to server communication, or like machine to machine authentication for that backend API libraries. So you can use any of these different stacks which can help you to authenticate. Like it's just backend process, there is no client side involved into it. Okay, so that's how. And yeah, everything documentation is written for each and every process. You just have to go into that and copy the code and paste it. You don't have to build anything from your side. So it's kind of that. And they have some other documentation as well, like how the application you can create, how you can connect the different account, how the SAML authentication work, because they have like SAML authentication, which is very popular, like a standardized protocol, allow the two parties to exchange authentication information. It's a kind of very secure process to authenticate, or most of the big company use it. So that's the SAML authentication, OpenID Connect. So they have like every different kind of authentication methods, so you can use it, everything over here. You don't have to do any code changes. You just configure over here, and then same URL will work for all these. Okay, let's go into the portal side. I'll just show you. So there's a getting started page. Like you go to the getting started page, you're gonna see this kind of interface over here. You see all these different developer tools that you can use, and yeah, so create application, you click on it, or you over here, or you just go over here like applications. It's the same thing. You can create application from here. I already have 3 created. Like first, by default they give me the default app, and this one got created when I used the enterprise. Like I click on enterprise and create one, so it got created by itself because it creates it for that enterprise. And the testing, I created it by myself for my use case. So the testing is kind of like test application. I use this, and I got one domain from the Auth0 side by default, because it's kind of every user create their own account, so they get the subdomain, and also they get like this ID as well. So this is your, I think, so it's kind of issuer ID or something we call it. So that's also, this is the unique domain. Every application gonna be having a unique domain, so that's a client ID. You have to keep it in your backend. Client secret, you have to keep it in your backend. Here you can update the logo for your application, which gonna display the logo, and login URL, like URI is kind of like, let's suppose someone wants to authenticate, so you have a front-end application, and if they click on the sign in button, so they will move to the login page. So whether moving to login page, they will move to the Auth0 login page, so you can link it over here. Okay, and allowed callback URLs, you can put it over here, like which callback URLs are allowed. Otherwise, if there's something you have put different and which is not allowed, like you keep it empty, so that will not work. Okay, so it's kind of that. Allowed web origins, like origins allowed. So this is my testing, so I just put the test URL, but you can put the custom domains over here, like whatever the abc.com, whatever you have, you can just put it. Back channel logger URL, we're going to be discussing about this later in another video, because it's kind of enterprise level. So when we're going to be moving to enterprise, and we're going to be discussing about social integration, so then we're going to be checking. So all those things, like different kind of setting you can explore, like token expiry and times and everything, you can just explore this one. And there is advanced setting as well, where I'm not going to be discussing about these right now. I'm just going to be taking you to the certificate page over here. So the certificate is required, like this is your certificate key, which helps you to encrypt and decrypt the token. So when you put the certificate key and then you integrate the backend, so when it's going to be generating the authentication token, like access token for you, so it's going to be signing it by this certificate, and you can decrypt it by using the JWT methods. Okay, jwt.verify, and then you put the access token and you put this certificate, so it's going to be giving you the user details into the response. Okay, so that's also, you can use it. After that, you can just do all this, and you can save, and it will just create an application for you. So there are some add-ons as well, like these are the credentials you can find again over here by default. So you put the client secret host, and you get the client secret. It's the same thing which you saw on the last page. Okay, APIs, you create the APIs over here, like if you want to create some different APIs, but basic API gonna be this one for you. You can just use this. Yeah, there is other audience API you can create over here. Like it's up to you what APIs you want to create, and that's gonna be accessible for you. You can call it from your backend API, and if that API is listed over here, so it's gonna give you the response. Okay, so it's up to you. And go to add-on. So add-on is like WS Fed web app and the SAML protocol. So these are the two different methods if you want to add on. So whether doing the normal authentication process, you can just use the SAML too. So you go over here, you can like whatever like social integration you're going to be adding into this one. So all those URLs going to be listing over here by itself, so you don't have to do it. So this is your login URL. If you just click on this, I show you this. I just click on this, I go over here, like let me just go to this page. So when I create the application, it will take me to the login page, and this is my login page, and I have like just email address enabled over here. I'm not using the password. I just put it like Abhishek continue, and it will take me, it doesn't match because it's managed by enterprise level, because I have connected enterprise into this one. Like you see the enterprise URL. So if I click on this, it will also take me to the same page over here directly, and then I have to put like my enterprise email ID. It will take me to that enterprise authentication method, whether it's a Microsoft, Google, or whatever it is. Okay, so my is integrated Microsoft. Okay, so that's why it will take me to the Microsoft. I'll show you like other videos, because it's going to be very long video, so I'm not going to be explaining everything in the single video, but everything I'm going to be explaining over here. So this is what you can use. You can do the settings over here. So you can put the callback URL over here. You get the APIs from here for going onto the authentication page. After completing all the process on the Auth0, it will automatically take you on this callback URL, and then wherever the callback URL would be integrated, like this API would be, automatically it will receive the access token, query code, like authorization code, user details, everything will be coming into the request, and then you can validate it. Okay, over there. Okay, these are some information about it. You can just read it, and if you have to use it somewhere, so like they have provided, so you can use it, and then yeah, you have to use it. So these information you have to use it in your backend side. When you integrate this API like SAML, then it will work for you. Okay, they're good to go. Connections, you go to connection. These are the like Google sign in, Facebook. So let's suppose I enable Facebook over here, Google over here, Microsoft over here, like username, password over here, all I have 4 enabled. Okay, so like let's suppose all 5 are enabled over here, all gonna be listed into the add-ons. If I go back, open the SAML, now you're gonna see 5 URLs listed over here. Let's see, see. And now if I click on this one, if I just copy this code and again just click on this one and hit the URL, you're going to see many different authentication methods listed over here. See, Google, Facebook, Microsoft account, and the login password, like email and password. It will take me to the email if email is different, so it will take me to the password one. See, the password it will ask. See, otherwise it would have taken me to like different like enterprise authentication. Okay, when it doesn't able to find with the enterprise, it took me over here. So it's kind of that. It's very easy process. Like if you once you understand how to work with this, so it's going to be very easy for you. You can authenticate it. So I'm not going to be making this video longer. That's it from this video, and I'm going to be explaining some more details about it. SSO integration, APIs, social. We're going to be checking the social and enterprise in the next video, and also you can do branding as well. Like you can modify your login page and do some more changes. Custom domains you can connect, verify the custom domains. Security you can access. Monitoring, like the logs you can check whenever your connection is working, whatever the activity going on, how many people with the connection, users and all. So you can check their logs over here in the monitoring. If I go over here, you can check the log stream. Okay, action logs as well. So everything comes over there in the logs. Let me just take you over there and show you. So it's my like free account, enterprise. It's my like trial account. So you see the trial 10 days left into it. So I'm just giving demo to you. So you see these kind of logs you get. So whenever read operation, so you can find all the details over here, where the request came from, who requested it, and all those things. Okay, fail, pass, everything you can read over here. How many authentication failed, why it failed, every details you will find, whatever belongs to Auth0. Okay, let's go back to application. Go over here, login experiences. You can change a little bit over there. Yeah, login experiences, you can change the interface a little bit. So it's kind of like, this is one thing. Let's suppose you have a new email. Okay, when you try to authenticate with that one, it's gonna give you a prompt. So the prompt kind of thing, like it gonna ask you, do you really want to provide the access to this space or this application? Like let's suppose you have an email abc.com, like from @abc.com. okay, and your email will authenticate with this Okta application, which is belonging Auth0. So Auth0 application, so which is called like test. So it's gonna show you, do you really want to provide your access to this application? So once you click on OK, then it's gonna be authenticating you. Like it will ask your consent very first time. So once you given the consent to that application, that always gonna be added into your email address, unless you go to that account and go manage account and then remove that application access from it. Otherwise, first time it's always ask you the consent. You're gonna see this page. So there are two interfaces how you want to show it. So one you can show like this, another you can show like this. So it's kind of that prompt for credentials. So they will ask you the credentials. Otherwise, no prompt. So they will just ask you like this, and you can click on OK, and then you can move to the page. So it's allowed for both. So individual, so you just want to make it for individual only, not for business users, or you want to keep it for all. So we just keep it for all, because we have to show them like we are taking your consent before authenticating you. It's kind of that success, and after that it will take you to the next page. So that's kind of like Auth0 application works. Now there is social integration, where you do the integration like wherever you have configured. So let's suppose you have Google, so you have to provide Google credentials over there. You have Facebook, like added Facebook in the connection, so you have to provide Facebook connections. If you have provided the Microsoft, you have to provide the Microsoft connections, like client ID, secret ID. Like if the Microsoft app doesn't exist, you're not able to use this in the production. So you have to make sure like you have a Google Cloud or Auth created, and then you get the credential, client ID, secret ID from there, and then put it over here and then accept, like make it work. Otherwise, if your application on the Google Cloud is not verified, the authentication doesn't gonna work in the production. It will work in the test with your email only. So that's the whole process. It's kind of like you configure everything on the one place, and you just don't have to write any code. Even you can make it as a link and put it on your HTML page. People can authenticate if you have some small information to share with someone and you don't want to share without authentication. So that's it from this video, and we're gonna see more things in the next video. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining me. Bye bye. Take care.